be honest. I think it's only UCal that hasn't headed down the road of the Syndra, so these will be your comps. Certainly a lot of teamfight power on the side of Fred and Brion if they do make it that far. With the Rakan, the Orianna, of course, the ball delivery system that can be very, very comfortable. Late game carry potential of a Tristana, and then Gnar with all of his AoE CC, and paired with the Lilia who can do the same thing is, you know, it's scary, but the problem is they're up against T1 who have an early game comp that should be able to set up lanes for Nidalee to really cause havoc.
Yeah, Umpty is going to have a really tall order ahead of him in this game, and he is going to have to carry and control parts of this early game, and he's going to have to be there for the counter ganks when Wonder goes to the top lane. If he's not, and that top snowballs, this is going to be a very easy lead for T1.
Yeah. Well, let's see exactly how it's going to go as we hop onto the Rift for game number 1.
Yeah, no, pretty old school. Umpty, there's no vision here. Keria.
Yeah, he's going to get bowling balled. Titan's Wrath going to be eaten immediately. Remember, doesn't have his flash. Nope. Now he's sort of walking up the lane. Watch out, Eep is going to go wide. Dredge line. Not going to be enough to save him. And first blood goes over to Umpty. As Zeus gets smacked back there with the Gnar. Play button is pressed in the mid lane. Shockwave to answer. As now, Zeus is going to have a bit of a snooze. Owner is going to get here. Primal Surge keeps the Renekton alive for a little bit longer than he could have otherwise been. But in the end, it is going to be yet another kill for the Lilia.
Okay, so next time he shows up, it's potentially a kill there.
Well, that's a teleport. Owner is waiting here as the spear is going to connect. And the Unleashed Power, not quite enough, but they do get a free flash. And now they're going to try and put even more pressure on. There's the Rift Herald. Try and open up this map even further in a control mage lane. That is actually very important. Getting some extra plates here as Owner is going to collect a lot of that money alongside Closer.
For this, right? I mean, from the fan perspective, from an analytical perspective, they also should be 2-0ing this, but just to put that out there, you know.
I agree.
Zeus.
It's a good wallop. Zeus taking a fair bit of damage. Dominance is going to be popped, trading ultimates here for our top laners.
One, comparatively. They're not having a bad game by any means, but it does feel like that, you know, putting him on a control mage with Wonder, they're not on the same page at the moment.
Well, right now they are getting the Rift Herald. Good rotation up there from Closer as the bowling ball is going to connect. And actually the sleep is committed to Yarong. Moving on over as Hoyer avoids the spear. I don't know whether Umpty really wanted to do that, but it does get them control of that Rift Herald, and they just steal it away. The lunch money gone.
Here. The Zeus, Renekton, so they're finally going to get this mid turret down.
Those Merc treads are pretty high value here on Yaharong right now. Turret very close to going down. Tristana, of course, best friends with killing turrets as Zeus going to pop the ultimate to keep himself alive. Actually avoids the Gnar damage as now Hoyer in mini Gnar form. There's a dice available here for Zeus. Oh, actually, no, that was the dice, but decides not to trade flag.
The thing about it is the only thing that changed. Oh, hold that thought.
Yep, Umpty might have been cast Curse by Wolf, unfortunately. Well, spin around a bit as in goes Delight, saving his Lilia, and it's the wrong time to get sleepy. Unfortunately, as now Keria finds himself surrounded by 4 as well, and no, that was a blessing, Wolf. You are absolutely right. 4-0 now. Fred at Brion. He often doesn't find himself with advantages like that as everyone's getting sleepy under this turret. There it is, the grand entrance Shockwave and a very dead Nidalee. T1 look completely out of sorts.
Yeah, T1 need to get their mentals unboomed here because it's time to actually tighten up the play here. You have to be aware of the wombo combos. I mean, this isn't even a wombo combo. It's just pretty straightforward.
And I mean, that's a pick onto the jungler as Soul Point is now available for Fred Brion. It's perfect timing as well.
Yeah. You've got to be aware of the potential that they have when the Rift Herald gets dropped like that. They have pick potential there. You don't respect it, you get picked, and then you lose the Rift Herald, or excuse me, lose the Drake.
And he's getting rewarded for it because there is follow-up to his attempts. It's really cool to see. As now Yaharong is going to have to flash. Shockwave comes through to try and buy himself some space. He gets out. Easy peasy.
Teleport.
Not the teleport that you were really looking for here, as Hoyer is going to get the Gnar into the wall. Had that Gnar bar set up really nicely. As now Owner off to the backside, uses the Blast Cone thanks to the Infernal Rift in order to get out. He's going to have to walk over that if he does want to get into that good position, to get into the back line. He's already pre-popped the ultimate, as he does have teleport, so theoretically he could be going for that, but now he gets the bad news. And Hoyer is already over that wall. Keria gets into the backline, but immediately gets chunked out. And now Delight's going for it. There's the shockwave, doesn't really do too much, but the Drake is secured by Umti, and the fight is being won here by Frederick. Gumayusi tries to be the hero, and the gameplay button will get rid of the Tristana, but unfortunately it is way too little and way too late. Frederick, they grab the Infernal Soul and win the team fight. That's an ace, and that could just be Baron.
I mean, I think it is. This is Infernal Soul at 25 minutes, into the game. And this has just been a fantastic game for Frederick. The fight was almost perfect. They handled the Renekton flank so well. Umti's in on top of the Drake, makes sure he can get the smite. It is such a clean Frederick game, one of our best. I mean, we've seen them take on a few Titans, right? The upset win against Damwon and Kia at the beginning of the season was the most memorable. But this is definitely going to go down in their very short history as one of their best games. And this is, again, all based on Umti's control of the map with this Lilia pick.
Exactly a play like that, but sometimes, doesn't necessarily work out as Hoya going to get that split push on towards the bottom side and does pretty comfortably get rid of the inner turret down there.
I mean, it's crazy that we're in a situation where Frederick has put T1 to where their whole game plan against this Baron is, I hope Zeus doesn't get seen and maybe we can set up a flank. But I mean, otherwise, that's like where we're at in this game is Renekton's expiration date has kind of been hit here because he's just not that far ahead. I mean, he didn't get ahead. He's, in fact, significantly behind. All he has is his Randuins. And
there's a Morellonomicon just like built outright on Umti as well. That was a big last purchase.
It's great. Versus the comp they're up against.
Okay, Carrier, going in. Not sure whether he necessarily wants to. He's got a two-man sleep to come forward as Carrier's just exploded. Reset does come down as Henna is just going to go golden. And unfortunately for Zeus, he's out of position. Oh my god! The fadeaway jump shot as Yaharong just executes. Gumayusi here. Closes now running for the hills. Owner, the last man standing. And Frederick, they can just kill the Nidalee and then win the game if they would like to, as Umti's unfortunately going to find his first death this game. But it's an ace, and Frederick will just run it up the mid lane and try and take down these turrets.
Super valuable cannon minion here, just going to allow them to crush the turret super fast, and they're going to run over here to these Nexus turrets and end the game. What a huge win here for Frederick. Start to finish, absolutely clean play, get an early lead and push it to the finish line.
Yeah.
That stopwatch you were talking about, luxury stopwatch, ended up being a Rolex for Henna.
That was a beautiful one.
Opportunity from Keria, and they collapse in. And look at the damage on the Gnar in this game.
Yeah, Hoya having a big game here and really demonstrating that, Gnar versus Renekton is still, what we remember from old. The Nidalee Renekton wasn't really utilized, though. I felt like there was a lot of happy feeding and a lot of sitting in brushes for Owner this game. He really didn't find any of his opportunities. And Frederick, I think, played it very, very well, making sure that they were safe, making sure they mitigated what is early pressure and early opportunity that T1 normally find for themselves in a lot of these games. Normally they're able to manufacture these moments. Just straight up didn't happen here. And Frederick behind Umti and his extraordinary Lilia and how big she got in the early stages, just felt like there was no way back for T1. So
yeah, and how do you get your head straight after a loss like that, too? I mean, we saw it happen in the Damwon Kia series where extremely early mistakes that they had, they ended up losing a game, then they bounced back hard. I think a lot of this is going to be about the draft. And since they're going to blue side now, I think they should try to get the Lilia themselves. Wonder's best champion. If it's not banned, they've got to first pick it.
Welcome back everybody for the second match of the night, and Frederick is back on their peak performance to take down T1. What's your take on the draft, guys? So the main champion for the jungle role has been rising up in the tier list, and with the Irelia, Lucian cards are getting banned out. Well, Frederick was confident enough to lock in Lilia as their first pick instead of Nidalee, because this champion actually fits Umti better. A champion that can make plays, and also a champion that can kind of dominate the team fight. And Umti definitely taking the lead in this team play was able to get a lot of work done. I think Frederick in all three lanes, I think they're maybe top and bottom duo they were performing so well in lanes, so they were able to exert their dominance starting from the laning phase. I think Frederick was able to take a very easy game this time around. And there were a lot of moments where T1 was playing in their haste, so we are gonna look through those those replays later on. So we want to go back to the reason why they were kind of starting to fall apart during the laning phase. Maybe it was Lilia. Lilia was able to pull off a very strong ganks, but at the same time, was not going all in for ganks. He was just clearing his camp, and then whenever he made a gank, actually, just T1 players fell to for no big reason. I think T1 was not really up to their full potential starting from the laning phase. Bro, on the other hand, they did perform well in the team fight stage, but at the same time, all throughout the game, they were pretty much solid up against T1. Now then, let's take a look at T1 playing in their haste in the mid and late game. So the first replay over here is around this Drake. Because Bro committed really hard on the bottom lane. T1 made the rotation to their jungle. So had a bit of a hint of this upcoming play, but we had some perfect counter play coming out from Delight and also Yaharong. So because they were fighting in the opponent's jungle, actually T1 got outnumbered really fast, so they chose to fight and took this fight where they are not in a very good spot. T1 did not make a reasonable decision over here because they were getting emotional, because they were losing a bit in this game. They wanted to trade back with something, so they were forcing off some play, but that didn't really work well. Now let's take a look at the second replay. Maybe they were too caught up about this Dragon Soul and Lilia, the jungler. Zeus just went to a very awkward spot, and then Kyria, he kind of takes the dredge lane, which kind of actually disconnected himself from his teammates. So it was a very bad position for T1 in this team fight in general. Their ultimate goal was taking down Lilia, but actually Lilia was in a very safe spot. She was able to clean up that Dragon Soul. And then after they secured the Soul, it was so easy for Freddy Brion to just win this team fight. We can tell T1 was so kind of in an impetuous fashion, so they had a very narrow vision over here. They were just going all in on that Lilia, but at the same time, their accuracy of their ability, the way they made the map rotation was not on the same page. Whereas Freddy Brion, they were having a fantastic teamwork. Actually, they knew how to kind of save their Lilia for the Soul, and also their follow-up team fight after that objective lockdown was also on point. The POG will go over to on Lilia. Second POG of the split, and I think his Lilia is really worth banning. In this current jungle meta, I think this Lilia fits the best playstyle. And also Hoya was doing a fantastic work on the top lane. In addition to that, their bottom duo was also just outplaying the opponents by themselves, but just came in to lock down those leads and connecting that into kills. was the one that kept drawing the attention from T1's players. He actually purchased the Dark Seal very early on, and then because he was getting super fat, he was able to complete that into Magi. And we could see a massive confidence coming from And he was definitely in a spot where he can kind of single-handedly carry his teammates till the end of this game, and perfect POG score for in this game. I think T1 should consider changing their tier list and their draft up against Freddy Brion, because game number 1 was very one-sided in favor of Freddy Brion. In the past series, we know that Freddy Brion has a very high, so let's take a look game number 2.